Okay, guys, our numbers are going up there, which is great. We've got a good few more people joining, and I'm sure we'll have more people throughout the session. Mary, it's 7 o'clock. Do you want to kick off there, and we'll start things off?
Yes. We okay?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Right. Welcome everybody, and thank you very much for coming to listen to us tonight. We're very excited about our new digital link for our annual rent review. So, firstly, I'd like to introduce our panel for tonight. We have Anya Murray. Anya is our Senior Rent Coordinator. And we have Ita Tobin, and Ita is our Tenant Engagement Officer. Okay, so tonight what we're going to do is what we're going to expect from this evening. We're going to give a brief overview of the annual process. We're going to do a walkthrough of the form, hints and tips next, and documents you will need to complete for the form, and then answer some questions, feedback from the panel. We will have a chat box open, so if you'd like to put any questions you have into the chat box, and this session is it's an hour long, so we will answer at the end as many questions as we can from the chat box. Okay, so during the night we will have some polls. Ita there is going to put up polls, so there'll be some questions. We would like your feedback, and that's the reason why we do this. So the first poll going up now is tick whichever box is most relevant to you. So if you could tick that, and then our next, some more questions. Okay.
We'll just wait there for a minute. Okay. Okay. That poll has just gone up there. If you want to just complete.
Great. Thank you very much, Ita.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to start now on just a brief overview. So, as we know, the rent review happens every year. And every other year previously to this, we have done it on paper. Okay? So, this time we have introduced a new digital link. The reason why we've done this is we've grown so large over the years. At the moment now, we've 10,000 properties, and you can imagine the amount of paperwork that comes into us. I think last year, at one stage, we had 39,000 sheets of paper. So, like other companies, what we're doing now is we're going digital. Like I know medical cards and tax in your car, everything now is digital. So this is the way that we have to go to be able to handle it. The digital link is secure and it's safer because over the past, like people have got documents lost in the post, you know, and it's far better to do a digital link. Now, there's less expense for yourself when you use digital. You don't have to pay for stamps, photocopying. I know for income details, you have to go down and get your income, your pay slips and everything copied to be able to send them back. And if there was a lack of information and we sent it back to you, you'd have to send it back to us again, which was more cost, more stamps. So this way, everything goes through a link. And if there's any reason we return it to yourselves, you just supply what you need through the link and it comes back to us again. It's part of your tenancy agreement. So this is done once a year. And if you have a change of income, we all know that income is based on, your rent, is based on your income. If you have a change during the year where your income goes up or your income goes down, you can contact us at any time and we'll change your rent. But we just do once a year that we send you out this and you complete it and send it back to us. So just the last thing I'd like just to say on that is it's important that you work with us, because it's all new to us. This is the first time we've used a digital link for assessing rent. And if you could all work with us, and we'll do our best to help you to get through this process. And after we've all gone through for the first year, it'll just be a year-on-year process after that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Anya, can she walk through the system and show you how to fill out the form? And then we can go through questions after that. Okay, Anya?
Thanks for that, Mary. I'm going to walk everybody through how to fill out a rent review form this evening. So at this point, you would have all received a link in your emails to follow and set up an account with the Keyholder portal. So you follow that link, you go and you set up your account in Keyholder. It's important to note that when you set up the account for the first time, you'll get a verification code by text message and by email. That's for the first time that you log in. Thereafter, each time you go to log into the portal, your verification code will only come by email. The email address that we have on our systems is the email address that we've sent your rent assessment form to. So when you follow the link to the portal and you're setting up your account, it's important to set it up with the email address that you have provided us. If your email address has changed, please do get in contact with us and we'll update our systems. I'm going to just share my screen now. So this is the screen that you will see when you log into your portal after setting up your account. We've sent over a rent assessment to each resident. It'll appear like this on the screen and it will say pending. At this point, you follow the arrow and the CIS will appear, or the confidential income statement will appear on the right-hand side. You select the confidential income statement and it'll bring you into the confidential income statement there. I'm just going to bring everybody to the first part of the form. In the first part of the form, it'll ask you for your details. So you'll need to fill in your name, your phone number, your email address, your address. It'll ask you to put in the amount of bedrooms that's in the property. It'll ask you to finish off the address by the city, the county, and your air code. Once you've completed this part of the form, you select Continue. In the next part of the form, it'll be asking for the members in the household. In this part of the form, we hope that it will be pre-populated for you, so the members of the household should appear. However, if there's anybody missing, you can add anyone over 18 by selecting the Add Adult section, and you can pop them in there. I'm just going to add one in now for the purpose of the form. And for any additional dependents, so for any children in the property that may not be on the form already, you can add them by selecting Add Dependent, and you can pop their names in there. If there's anybody on the form that isn't in the property at the moment, you can just delete them by selecting the little delete box or the bin icon here on the right-hand side of the form. So I'm going to do that now. And it just takes them off the form for you. When that part's completed, you move on to the next of kin details. So you fill in your next of kin and the relationship that they are to you. It's important to note that the next of kin should not be somebody that's already in the household with you. So it's best to use somebody like a parent, a cousin, an aunt, someone who's not living in the property. Once you've completed that part of the form, you can select Continue. So in the last part of the form here, it's going to ask for the income details of the household, okay? So it's going to act as a drop-down menu for each person, and it'll be pre-populated from the previous part of the form where you filled in the details of the people in the property. So you can see that my name has popped up here. So I select my name. There's a drop down for the income. We hope that we've covered everything here for you. We have carers allowance, job seekers, maintenance, if you have no income, or if we don't have everything covered there, you can select other. You pop in the amount that you're earning, and you can pop it in weekly or monthly. Once you've finished adding in the income, you need to add proof of that income. So proof can be, if you're employed, 3 consecutive pay slips. It can be an end of year statement for 2022. If you're receiving welfare or you collect your money in the post office, you can take a picture of your receipt that you receive, or if you get it into your bank account, it can be a picture of your bank statements. It's important to know that if you are employed and you receive your pay slips by email, they normally are password protected. We can't use password protected pay slips. So it's best to open them, take a screenshot, and then upload them onto the form, because if they're uploaded and they're password protected, we will return the form to you. So at the bottom here, to add your document, you just click over the little plus icon or the little add icon there, and you can select anything from images, PDFs, payslip, anything that you've downloaded on your phone or taken a picture of, anything that you've downloaded on your laptop. The proof of income must be legible. We must be able to read it. So if you're taking a picture on your phone, it's important to make sure that you can see the income there clearly. So once you've added the income in the household, you select finish. So once I've selected finish, it says that my confidential income statement is submitted. After this, you must go and agree, select the I agree to share my personal details and accept request. Then you select provide access. So once you do that, the form is closed off and it's sent over to us. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the form, we'll take a look at the proof of income that you've provided us, and we'll either accept that, which then you'll receive an email in your inbox to go back into the link to find your new rent letter. You'll receive your rent letter through the portal. If we need any additional information, what we might do is we might return the form back to you. In that case, you'll receive an email to go into your portal, log into your portal, and you'll have a notification there. So the notification will look something like this. If you see that little orange triangle, so that means that additional information is required. You can go back in and open up the form at that point, and there'll be a note for you. Please add proof of. When you see that, you need to select your confidential income statement again. It will be pre-populated of all the details that you've filled in. So if we've requested proof, you'll just need to go back in and add a document here. Or if we've requested maybe that somebody in the household be added that may have been forgotten in the original CIS, you can go back and add them in this section here. So I think that's all in showing you how to fill out the form, what the form looks like. We do have a video on our website that you'll be able to go in and view at any point. The video walks you through how to fill out the form if there's anything that you need to touch up on. But there's also a video in your portal. So every time you go in, if you have any queries or you'd like to just see how certain things are filled out, you can pop into the video there and take a look. If you have any other queries, you can always give us a call. At this point, if you have any queries, I'd ask that you pop them into the chat box, and hopefully we'll be able to get round to them and answer them at the end of the webinar for you guys.
Lovely. Thank you, Anna. I'll go on to now the next part, which is frequently asked questions. So the first one here is, when does the rent review happen and when will my new rent be applied? So the rent review, it generally it used to always happen earlier in the year, and due to this new digital link coming in, where it's just happening a little bit later this year. But the new rent will be applied on the first Monday of May. So that'll be your new rent start date. The next one, I'm in employment. What income evidence do I need to submit? So as Anya was saying, if you're in employment, 3 pay slips are sufficient. If you have an end of year statement, that will give us your income either that way. I'm on social welfare. What income evidence should I submit? So if you collect your money in the post office, you'll get a little slip in the post office. If you have 3 of those, take a picture of those and upload it. Or you can go down to welfare and they'll give you a written and signed off amount of what your weekly welfare is. Next question, I have a dependent over the age of 18 in my house. What evidence do I need for them? If they're in education, you need to provide us with proof of education. If they're unemployed, you need to proof of unemployment. And if they have no income or they're not in education, you can go down to welfare and get a letter stating that they have no income. Okay. And next one, can you save your progress as you go through an online form? You can, so long as you don't submit it. Isn't that right, Anya?
Yes, so as you go through the form and you populate the form, it will save it. It has a memory. So if you go back and forward to write the form, what you've already put into it will remain there. So when you send the form over to us, even if we send it back to you asking for additional information, the previous information that you provided should still be there. I think it's also important to note, Mary, just for anybody who is over 18 and in the property, not earning an income and in education, you do still need to pop them into the last section of the form. You put their name in and you select the drop-down box at no income, and then you attach proof of their education or proof of a welfare statement showing that they're not in receipt of income. That'll suffice, but it is important to add them into the last section of the confidential income statement form.
Right. Thanks, Sonia. Next question is, how do I attach supporting documents for proof of income? So how you attach them is how Anya did it there. I think the easiest way is to take a picture with your mobile or smartphone, take a photograph of it, and then you can upload it. When you click then onto the add your documentation, you'll see the pictures there and you just upload them from there. If you're working on a laptop, you can just save them to your desktop either or in documents, and you can save them from there. The next question is, I'm having an issue with the digital form. I can't submit any assessment form. What do I do? If you can't submit your assessment, you can contact us. We're only here to help you. So if you have any problems at all with your form, we'll be able to help you. Some problems we have will be IT related, and some problems will just be with filling out the form and uploading the documentation. But contact us, the rent department, and we'll be able to help you. Now, the last one, I can't do the rent assessment online. Can I do a paper version? We would wish that it was all digital this year, but we do know there are some people who probably won't ever be able to do a digital link, to be able to do it that way. So what happens is just phone us and we'll talk you through it, and we'll help you whatever way we can to get you through doing a digital one. And if not, then we'll have to give you a paper one if you come under a certain criteria. Okay. Now we have Aisha, we have another poll now.
Sure, I'm just going to launch this now.
Thank you.
You should be able to see that now. I've had 1 or 2 people come in on the questions and answers there just to say that the poll doesn't seem to be working for them. So I am seeing people filling it out. Hopefully it is working for most people. You just choose to tick a box there, the one which best suits you. So we'll give you a minute there to read through that before I close it off.
No.
Okay, I'll close that down. We are actually receiving questions in, Mary and Anya, into the Q&A. So we might take a moment in a little while to just go through some of those. So some people are asking the same things, but we've time to go through a few of those as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
if you want to put some of those up, Ita, and we can go through those.
Yeah, do you want to do that now, Mary?
Yes, that would be great. Thanks.
Okay, that's great. So I'll just read them out here to you, Mary. That's the best way to do them.
Yeah.
When do we have to submit our income, the latest point at which to submit income? And is there an increase, a maximum increase?
Okay. Best way to answer that is we have 2 weeks from you received the link. You have 2 weeks to fill it out and submit it. Rent is based on your income. If your income has gone down since the last time you're assessed, your rent will be lower. If your income has gone up since the last time you submitted one, your rent will be higher. And your rent is always based on the policy. 95% of it based on the policy of the county you live in. Some policies have a maximum rent and some policies don't have a maximum rent. So it's different for everybody. But if you have any queries, please contact the rent department.
The next one there, Mary, is I haven't received an email with a link to the portal yet. Should I call the office tomorrow?
Absolutely. Yes, please contact as soon as possible and we'll be able to help you with that.
For self-employed, do they submit the assessment?
Absolutely, yeah. They submit it because you're whether you're self-employed or employed or unemployed, the income of the household is what the rent is calculated on. So we need everybody to submit their the link with their income on it.
The next one there is just to be sure, do you need a letter from social welfare to prove if your 18-year-old child is unemployed?
No, not necessarily. So if your 18-year-old child is in education, a letter of education will suffice. So if they're still in secondary school or if they're in college, you can get a letter, the acceptance letter for college, or a letter from the school to say that they're in full-time education, and that will suffice. If they're not in education at the moment, they do need to provide proof of not earning. So that can be in form of a welfare statement, which you can get by logging into the MyGov app. It will show that there's nothing being received from welfare or also from employment, and that will suffice. So either one. If they're in education, a letter from education will suffice. If they're not in education, then you will need a revenue letter there to say that they're not in receipt of any payments at the moment.
Okay, just following that on you then, someone is saying here, my net pay is different on each, I presume it's pay slip. I'm paid every 2 weeks. So what way will I submit that?
So 3 consecutive pay slips, so 3 pay slips in a row basically is fine. So what we'll do is we'll do the calculation on the average of those 3 pay slips, and that will give us the average of if the income fluctuates a lot, that'll give us the average income there for them. If 3 pay slips, if you can't get access to 3 pay slips, we'll be doing it on an accumulative anyway. So we'll be doing it on the earnings up until this point in the year on an average of the earnings.
Okay.
I hope that answers that question. I can see that there is some questions coming in there in relation to self-employed and what income you submit if you are self-employed. So your end of year account statement is a good example of proof of income if you're self-employed. You can also get a My Revenue statement from the MyGov app after you do your tax return each year. So that there would also suffice. But if you are self-employed, you must provide proof of your income there also.
Okay, I'm just looking here, guys. We do have time to take a few questions, so we might continue on for the moment if that's okay. Just somebody here saying, what should I do if I'm unemployed and not receiving welfare?
Okay, so they just need to get a letter from welfare stating that they're not receiving any welfare. There's no problem with welfare giving those letters out, and just attach that and put down on the income details 0 income and attach the letter.
Yeah, and the MyGov app as well, your end of year statement will show that you aren't in receipt of any income. So I know a lot of people will go on to show the receipt of income received, but actually if you haven't received any income, you'll still be able to receive a statement and be able to print that out or download it if you don't have access to going down to your local welfare office or anything like that.
Okay, guys, sorry, just a good few people asking questions there. I know we did kind of touch on it earlier, but it's just a good few coming in to say, when does the return have to be made by? When do we have to complete the rent assessment by?
Right. So the link was sent out last Thursday. So we have 2 weeks to fill it out. What we will do is we send notifications on how many days left that have to be sent. Okay. So everybody had 2 weeks to send it back from the date of receipt.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's best to return it as soon as possible. You know, once you start filling out the form, if there's anything that you come up against that you're having any difficulties filling out, or if you have any queries in relation to your income, then you can give us a call and you've got lots of time to gather that information. So I think it's best, I suppose the best advice is fill it out as soon as you can. And then if you need anything, we're here to support you to get that form in time.
Yep, just one or two people there just asking, have the links been sent? So just, I think we said there earlier on that if you haven't received a link at this stage to contact the rents office, we're going to give you the information, the details of how to contact the rent office now in a sec. And they will send out the link again, just in case for anybody who hasn't received it. Just one or two more in here, guys, if you're okay to keep going. I filled the form, but I put no income in. So it just seems to be, from what I can gather here, there's a bit of the form not working for this person. They've attached the letter, but they just seem to be having a little problem. In that case, Anya Mary, is it best if they contact the rent department for them to talk you through it?
Absolutely. If they ring us tomorrow, we'll be able to talk them through it.
Okay, so any issues with the form, just give Rents a call and they'll go through it with you over the phone.
Yeah, I can see some technical queries there in relation to verification codes, things like that there. So for the verification code, the first time you sign up to the portal, you'll receive one by text message and by email. If you haven't received it, I know some people have trouble finding it in their emails. It often goes into a junk folder. So if you want to check the junk folder there, if you're still having any issues, do give us a call. I think some people as well, when they are logging into the portal, they've created their account, they don't see a CIS form or confidential income statement there. If that happens, give us a call as well. Often it means that you've signed up or created an account with a different email to what we have on your account on our housing management system. So we need to change that email then, or you'll need to log in and create an account with the email that we have if you still use it.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that, Anya. We just have one or two more here, guys, if that's okay. I'm paid monthly. Will I submit 1 monthly pay slip or 3 months of pay slips?
Monthly is fine. It's like 4 pay slips a monthly is. So just 1 monthly is fine, and we'll do an average. We'll get the net week out of that. That's fine.
Yeah, submit your most recent income if possible. So if you're on monthly pay, your most recent pay slip will be for February. So submit your February pay slip. And that goes for weekly pay slips and for any social welfare that you might receive. So current bank statements in this year of 2023 and current welfare slips of 2023.
Okay, just somebody here asking, I know we have a number of self-employed people on tonight, guys. Just somebody asking that they're just concerned because they're waiting for their accountant to be able to do the returns on time to show the income that you need. Is there any leeway on that, or what is the situation there?
You go on that on you.
Yeah, so for your yearly accounts, some people do them at different times of the year. So sometimes they're done in January, sometimes they're done in June, and sometimes they're done in December, meaning you should be, they're done in December, you should be receiving your summaries now. If they're done in June and your account won't be completed until June of this year, send in your most recent form of accounts. We do an annual rent review every year, so we'll be catching each year of your accounts every year that we reassess your rent. End of year accounts for 2021 won't be accepted at this point, or they will be accepted, but up until a certain point, it all depends on when your end of year closes, and we'll be able to see that on your previous assessment and your current state of accounts there. So send in the most recent one you have.
Okay. Are we good to continue with one or two more? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
What year do you need for the self-assessment form?
For your self-assessment form, as in your revenue return form?
I'm presuming it's the revenue return form.
Okay, so well, I suppose you should be doing your revenue return form at the end of 2022. So up until the end of 2022 would be the year that we would be looking for.
Okay, just to say that this session is being recorded this evening. Just we did say that at the beginning. Just it is being recorded. So for anybody, there's a few people saying, "Look, can I go back in and look at this information again?" We will make that available to you, and we'll also have the information contained in the chat. We'll be able to send out a link on, just so you can see. We'll update the questions that have been asked there tonight. Hi, I've been tried signing up for Keyholder with the link multiple times, but Keyholder is not sending the confirmation code to my email address. I tried emailing Keyholder. What should I do?
Yeah, so I think that goes back to what I covered earlier on. If you want to maybe check your junk folder, if you're still not getting your verification code, do give us a call into the office, and we'll see what we can do. Keyholder, for the technical queries, they should return to you with an answer. But if they don't, give us a call and we can follow up for you.
Okay. Maybe we'll just take one more, and then we'll do our best then to answer these after this evening. I'll make a copy of them and we can put up the answers for everybody. My daughter only spends 2 to 3 nights a week at home as she works away. Do I include her income?
Yep, if she's included on the residency, so if she's on your account on our housing management system, she's part of the household, and all income in the household is taken into account. So yes, I would say you do need to include it if she's there on our housing management system.
Okay, maybe we'll return to the questions section just at the end. I think people are finding it very, very helpful from what's coming in here. So what we might do at the moment is just continue on with the slides, and we can see if we've time to return to it at the end. Is that okay?
Brilliant, thank you.
Great, okay.
Just like to say to everybody, we have a rent review at tuahousing.ie if people would like to put their questions there as well as phoning into the office, okay?
Okay, great, Mary. Okay, so I'm just looking at the rent department number there that you've given, the rent department, so you can ring there if you want to take a note of that number. It's 01676 1602, and that's just go to option 3. So you'd be asked to choose an option. It's option 3 for rents department. Okay, do you want to continue on, Mary? Is it yourself then with the slides? Will I go to the next slide? Are you ready?
Please.
Yeah. Oh, we have another poll. So I'm just going to bring this poll up here and just launch this poll. Just bear with me 1 sec here and we'll get this up. I'm seeing some people are having an issue getting into the polls. Our apology about that. Most people are, but some aren't. So if you can choose an option there that suits, we'll just wait for a minute there for people to log in. Oh, it seems to be working there again for most people. That's brilliant. Okay. So just the question there, just to give people feedback, they just might be interested in this as we go. We were just asking there, do you require follow-up on the new digital rent process after the information session this evening? About 62% are coming out at the moment saying no, that they don't. About 38% of attendees this evening are saying that they may do. Okay. I'm just going to
That's
end the poll there. All right. So we'll continue on. Okay.
no.
So we're just looking for any feedback that you have there. Please put it in the chat box if you can. If the chat box isn't working for you, some people were saying the chat isn't working, please put it in the Q&A and we'll pick it up from the Q&A. So if there's any feedback from this evening, just post it in the Q&A section there if chat is not working for you. And we'll be able to take a look at that after this evening. Guys, are you okay to revisit one or two more questions from this evening? Yeah.
Questions, yeah, as many as
Isha,
as many. Yeah,
I can
sure.
see
Anya?
there's some questions coming in there. A
Brilliant.
few people logged in just halfway through or come the
Sure.
end of the webinar. If you've missed anything tonight, I think Isha explained that we will be recording this. It will be available, but there is also a video available and it's on the portal. We have a rent review section on the website, so you can access that at all times. There's a video there and there's also Q&As there as well. So if you've missed anything, don't worry. There's loads of support and resources there, and this session will be recorded as well.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Just sorry, it's just reading through the text. It's just to make sure I can get this right. My son lives with me, and he has to pay for his dependent, as they are no longer together, therefore reducing his amount. Does this have any effect on my rent amount? Thank you.
Your rent is based on the income. There's only certain items that reduce that income. They would be 3 taxes, or if you're paying maintenance. That's for some policies, if you're paying maintenance to somebody else. But generally, nothing else reduces the total income. Like some people might have credit union, or they might have pension, or they might have a union, all that. Your rent is calculated on your net income less your 3 taxes, and that's generally the way it works.
Okay. Just Mary, there is somebody asking, is there any chance to purchase the property? It's not really related to a rent question, but is there any chance to purchase
a rent question? It would be more for housing, that if your housing officer can be contacted, or the housing management service can be contacted, they'll be able to let you know the answer to that.
Sure. I'm sure it's different okay.
Yeah.
So if my wife is working in a school from September to June, but 2 months has no income, how does that affect the rent?
What we do is we take the total income for the 52 weeks, and say if it's only 2 months she worked, and we average it over 52 weeks. So say if she earned €100 for 2 months, average it over 52 weeks, it would probably come out about 20-something euro a week. So it's based on the income. It's very fair. We would never charge you rent at a higher level if there's no income for those months. All right.
Great. Being self-employed, our returns are done in arrears. So how can I show for 2022 if it's not submitted yet?
Oh, and we'll let you go again.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see there by that query in the chat that your returns are done on the 15th of November, and that's perfectly fine. So if your returns are done in November of every year and you haven't received your end of year accounts, you need to return your most recent one. Okay, so it's done in arrears. So the last one that would have been done is on the 15th of November in 2022, and that would be for 2021. That's perfectly fine. Send those end of year accounts in to us.
Okay, I'm the only one claiming for my family job seeker benefits. What documents do I need to submit for my children?
So it would be job seekers and then the dependents, which would be on the slip. If welfare is collected in the post office, that would have all the information needed. And 3 of those, or if the welfare goes into the bank, that you can get a bank statement. You can cross out what you don't want us to see and take a photograph of the bank statement and upload it as your proof of income.
Okay. Just somebody asking there, I presume it's related to their partner. it's about maintenance. Should I include maintenance payments, I think is the question.
Yeah, all income in the household should be included there in the rent assessment. There are under different policies and different councils, there are some exclusions. But our advice is to submit all income in the household, whatever exclusions there are or anything like that there, we will take out thereafter when you submit the form. It's best to put in absolutely everything, because you don't want a scenario happening where you haven't declared an income and it may have to be reassessed and backdated. Whereas if you include everything, we'll take out any of the exclusions there for you.
Okay,
Yep.
Thanks for that, Anya. And just looking here, just quite a few people are commenting that it's quite helpful going through the questions. So we just might take a few more if that's okay. We're both on welfare. He's on disability on half carers. Is there any discount applied?
It depends on the council policy. Some council policies, some exclude carers and some only take carers at a half rate. So it depends on the policies. What I'd say to people is go onto the County Council's website and have a look at their differential rent policy, and it'll tell you what their maximum is, their minimum is, what their exclusions are. It's no harm if you really want to have a look at it, just go into the council website. But different councils, they all vary. Most of them include carers as an assessable income, but some maybe half have it just as they only take half of the carers as accessible income.
Okay, just semi-related anyhow, is there a maximum rent amount for Galway City? Is there a maximum rent amount?
I'd have to go into their different policy and have a look, but what I can do is if you leave an email address here, I can email you tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
I can just see there, Aoife,
that
person in relation to maintenance.
Yes.
If maintenance is being paid out.
I think there's only one policy in Ireland that if you're paying maintenance, they reduce that off your net income, and but that's just one county in Ireland that do that. All the rest of them, doesn't matter how much maintenance you pay, it's your net income, the total that your rent is based on.
Yeah, maintenance would be a cost of living, I suppose, expense there in the household. But definitely pop it onto the CAS form as a note or a piece of information there. And if it's to be excluded out of your net income, we'll definitely do that. Okay.
Just somebody being very helpful there, and thank you for that. I just found my email in junk that came from Keyholder. So just in case that happens to anybody else, it may have gone into your junk mail for some reason. So just to check the junk mail to see if you haven't had the email back from Keyholder that it may be there. Okay. What month is the rent assessment next year?
The rent assessment next year should start in January. It used to always start every January, and the new rent date was April. But as I said, because of the digital process it took us a long time to bring this in. So that's why we're just starting a little bit later. So it'll be January next year, it'll start again.
Okay. Just that person back there that just saying that they've just checked Galway City and it says that there's no maximum rent, Mary. How big of a rent increase can we get yearly?
Well, if there's no maximum, it can go to. We always say that rent is generally based on approximately 17%. It can vary between 10 and 20%, but we say 17% of your income. In some counties, there are no maximum, so it'll go up to 17% of whatever net income, the earnings that are coming into the house.
Okay. Okay. Anya, sorry, did you have something there? Did you want to come in there?
No, I was just agreeing there with Mary.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. I think maybe we'll we might close out. Hopefully we got through as many as possible. Apologies if we've missed any but we will actually make a note of all of these. We will send out a link with an updated frequently asked questions, which you can log on to and see those questions and the answers as well. So, and as Mary has said, you will be able to, give the Rents Office a ring there on that number or email as suggested, and we'll be able to get back to you on any queries that we have.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so guys, anything else before we end this evening?
Just like to say thank you very much to everybody who gave up their time to listen to us tonight, because the digital link, it's very important for us that this is a success, and we are very grateful. And if we can just get your feedback, I'd love to see how you feel it compares, to the paper.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
absolutely. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining the webinar this evening, and we do appreciate all feedback. We obviously want to make this process as easy and streamlined as possible for you. So all the feedback that we get will help us improve the service there for you guys.
That's great. I just encourage anyway, we won't close out for a few minutes. If you just want to actually continue to use that Q&A function, we'll just hold on for another 2 or 3 minutes and just continue to put your feedback in there. We do want to make sure that we capture your feedback and that we capture any other questions that you have and that we can address them after this evening. So if anybody wants to post in their email as well, as Mary had said there, that person earlier in particular, we can contact you back. Okay.
Yeah. And the rent team is here. We're on the phones just waiting to help you so we can get through this.
Okay, that's great, guys. We might just give another 2 minutes there and we'll just wait just to see if we've any further feedback before we close out this evening.
Sorry, Isha, I do just see a query there in relation to what you ask for in social welfare if you're on an allowance but paid into the bank. So a bank statement is perfectly fine to submit as proof of evidence there. You can take a screenshot, you can download the statements there from your banking app, and that'll save having to go to the bank or having to pay for printed statements in the post.
Great, thanks for that, Anya.
And do have a look at the council policies. It'll give you an idea of how the calculation's done, maximum, minimum, and it's just good to have it, a bit of an inside information on it.
Okay. Just wait for 1 more minute there. Some people are just finishing off writing in, so we just wait for 1 more minute, guys, just to make sure we have given everybody a chance. Okay, that seems to be it for this evening. Okay. Thanks very much to everybody. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Sonia. I'll end the session now. Okay. All right.
Thanks everyone.
guys.
Thank you.
Take
Have
care.
a good evening.
Thank you.